Hello everyone, my name is Rollin, aka JRKTV. And yes, my name is Rollin, but yeah. Today we're going to be looking at the people myths of GTA San Andreas. Now, tomorrow's episode, I promise, will be another video of these. Not like people, but you know what I mean. So, the first one we got today is Michael Myers. Here we go. Michael Myers is based on a serial killer in the Halloween movie franchise. By the way, guys, I'm going to be talking like in a kind of like scary voice, kinda, not too. Now let's get back into this. Michael's extension in San Andreas is very similar to that of Jason. Both of them are serial killers from movies. Michael will hunt the player. Michael is also believed to be found at the Shady Cabin and other places of Shady Creeks. Michael is to be found in his blue jumpsuit and his iconic mask. He has supposedly large amount of health, so it is usual to have to cheat to defeat him. Location of Michael Myers. There are various modifications of the myth. There is also a house that players think looks like Michael Myers' house, but that is not proven. However, the myth itself is far-fetched, and it is just a hoax. Is that really a myth if it's just a hoax, then? You got, hold on, Michael on Grove Street, Michael at the farm. What kind of mask is that? Michael's house. Okay, Mr. Trenchcoat. Mr. Trenchcoat, also known as the serial killer or the Undertaker, is a proven myth in San Andreas. Mr. Trenchcoat is a particular pedestrian who believes he has been abducted by aliens. He is unique to the certain areas in Terraria, Robata, and Bone County, though he sometimes appears as the suicidal photographer in Flint County. Mr. Trenchcoat for a walk. He is a white male, somewhat shorter than CJ, dressed in a long black trench coat and has a black cowboy hat with what appears to be an American flag handkerchief tied around his collar. Mr. Trenchcoat is perhaps the most intriguing pedestrian in San Andreas, as he displays some unique properties and can be heard remarking some strange dialogue about hearing voices, implants, and lizard-eyed imposters, somewhat akin to a conspiracy theorist. He also claims to be suffering from headaches, urges, and amnesia, and clearly displays symptoms of paranoia. Mr. Trenchcoat spotted the player. His pedestrian dialogue contains many lines referencing aliens. The aliens are coming. They're up there watching. Can't let them take me again. Oh, sure will they look human. You can't steal my mind, you green-blooded abomination. Lizard-eyed imposter. Alien scum abducted again. Mr. Trenchcoat also has conversations with other pedestrians from time to time. During some summit, it is revealed he believes he has some kind of implant in his head, announcing, "Not since I've had this thing in my head." On other occasion, he reports he has seen the shape of a dog once, possibly referring to the chupacabra. Sometimes he also has asked the other pedestrian if they have seen the lot above the desert. He is most likely referring to the operations at Area 69 or Area 51, or possibly aliens, which most citizens of San Andreas seem to be too. Area 69. Mr. Trenchcoat displays some interesting characteristics. If followed and observed for a length of time, he will sometimes become hostile and begin attacking CJ, attempting to punch him. If a weapon is fired in his vicinity, he usually doesn't flee as regular civilians do. Even when a weapon is aimed directly at him, and when killed, he will respawn in the area very quickly, much very quickly, much faster than a regular pedestrian. Mr. Trenchcoat attacks the player due to surveillance. The long-held belief that Mr. Trenchcoat does not emit a thermal signature when viewed through thermal goggles is incorrect, as he clearly emits a signature at his extremities, with his long leather coat insulting most of his body heat, giving the mental impressions that he is cold. Mr. Trenchcoat communicates with a pedestrian. Dang, this one's long. Rumors that Mr. Trenchcoat is a serial killer soon arose after players reported him supposedly attacking them and other pedestrians with a combat shotgun. But these rumors were not based on fact and generally assumed that the player who had witnessed these phenomenon may have had the riot sheet activated at the time. Other players have reported him stabbing pedestrians in Fort Carson. Players theorize his place of residence lies on a dirt track just off the main road, running south between El Crabados and Las Brancuas, near the Terra Rabato bait shop, another location he can be found. House and its location on the map. The structure is a modest single-room dwelling with windows based on all sides and a porch running the length of facade. A windmill stands next to the property of the western side, and a beat-up saddler at the rear, letting some players to draw a connection to the Epsilon cult. Other reports state he also resides in areas like the Panopticon, which another fact is a bunch of myths are in the Panopticon. The Panopticon. Despite being labeled this is so long. Despite being labeled as a serial killer, Mr. Trenchcoat is mostly likely someone suffering from alcoholism, possibly brought by trauma as a result of an external encounter. There is also a connection between him and the character Mr. Hat. Mr. Hat slightly resembles the bald redneck pedestrian wearing a blue cap and old rag blue shirt, jeans, sneakers, and an eye patch over his left eye. Mr. Trenchcoat and Mr. Hat sometimes converse with each other on the street, with Mr. Trenchcoat occasionally heard talking to him about aliens and other conspiracies, but Mr. Hat has not been observed saying anything suspicious in return. It is interesting to note that Mr. Trenchcoat and Mr. Hat share a pedestrian model number, only being differentiated by the number at the end of their model. Mr. Hat and the Broken Saddler? Mr. Trenchcoat can also talk to the Paranoid Cowboy. The Paranoid Cowboy wears a blue and black plaid button-down shirt with a white t-shirt under it, dark blue jeans, a black cowboy hat, brown cowboy boots, and black sunglasses. He also sometimes talks to Mr. Trenchcoat, remarking a few strange quotes, both in conversation and if a player interacts with him. He appears to exhibit the same paranoid behavior as Mr. Trenchcoat. Sorry, guys. If you hear some walking around, it's my dog named Nash. If you want a video about Nash, get this video to 30 likes, and I'll do it. Paranoid Cowboy. While they all converse with each other, Mr. Trenchcoat, Mr. Hat, and the Paranoid Cowboy can never be seen talking to a pedestrian with their model. For example, Mr. Trenchcoat cannot be found speaking to Mr. Trenchcoat. Of course, they can't. Here are some more images. Mr. Trenchcoat shoots the player. Mr. Trenchcoat next to the mass grave. Mr. Trenchcoat looks at his victim. Now let's do Pigacy. Pigacy is a most famous myth in San Andreas. Pigacy is an antagonist in the 2003 horror game Manhunt, released by Rockstar Games. Pigacy is a dandruid mass murderer who uses a served pig's head as a mask and has little connection with reality, and it's completely inhuman in behavior. It ended badly for the photographer. Probably. Pegasus' existence in San Andreas was sparked by various online rumors during the release of the game, but it gained popularity when YouTube myth hunter Darth Dimitos posted a video about the Shady Creeks creature in 2008. In the video, a short figure resembling Pegasus was seen in a freeze frame shot near the end of the investigation. This video prompted a large discussion within the community about the existence of a pig-like creature in San Andreas, thus the birth of a new myth called Pegasus. Pegasus spawn locations. Pegasus has been reported sighted in San Andreas, around Mount Chiliad, and in Shady Creeks. Pegasus is said to carry a chainsaw around to maim and kill his victims. So cut him. There are various in-game clues that support Pegasus' existence in San Andreas. First of all, both Manhunt and San Andreas were released by Rockstar Games. There's also an action figure of Pegasus sold in San Faro at Zero's RC shop. The small three-dimensional action figure has been proven to exist in the game files, so many believe a larger interactive version exists too. Pegasus Toys at Zero RC shop. The action figure located in Zero's RC shop serves as an Easter egg to reference the Manhunt video game. Unfortunately, most of the online photos or videos that supposedly show Pegasus is the result of mods. A balding redneck pedestrian that is believed to be Leatherface has dialogue in which he says, "Watch it, Piggy, the pedestrian's connotations to another chainsaw killer," and the reference to pigs make it likely that this evidence of Pegasus' existence within the game. Many early internet rumors have Pegasus and Leatherface feuding. Here are some more images. Piggy spotted by a player, possibly traces of Pegasus. Pegasus at the sawmill. First image of Pegasus. Second image of Pegasus. Pegasus up close. The suspect. This one I know is pretty short. I think I've looked at before. In 2015, myth hunter Ulan Ob formulated a theory regarding the house in Blueberry that is sealed by the police for an unknown reason, but it is mostly likely a murder scene. A face can be found adjacent to the house. During the investigation, the player found out that the pedestrian commonly reported as the Cane Killer appears to randomly spawn around the house, making him a prime suspect. The suspect. Moreover, according to a bizarre claim, the Cane Killer's chest has a Pegasus-like texture drawn, which relates to the incident to Pegasus as well. But upon technical analysis, it's just an optical illusion. All the theories describing the Cane Killer being the murderer are false. Sealed house door, face near the house. The Psycho. I think this one might be a little long. Again. The Psycho pedestrian is an unarmed and unused pedestrian found in the game's GTA 3.lmg file, known only as Psycho.txt. He is a Hispanic man with a Van Dyke beard who wears a black ski cap and a green bomber jacket, military bottoms, and black combat boots. The Psycho's face appears to be angry regardless of the context. Psycho attacks the player with a knife. Given that the Psycho ped does not have any clearly defined roles in the game, many internet-based rumors have arson. It has been debated whether the Psycho was actually supposed to spawn as a street criminal and would run amok in the streets, hence the name Psycho. Another rumor states that the Psycho could just be another military model dressed in casual wear for duties around Area 69. Again, Area 51. And the CAC military fuels. More sinister ideas exist as well. Some fans have created a backstory for this pedestrian, putting him as a regular member of the military until his mental health degraded, turning him into a killer. All of these rumors can nearly be disclosively proven. Psycho at an abandoned airport. It's difficult to track down any information on the Psycho, as he is absent from most pedestrian files, namely peds.dat and pedgrip.dat. However, there is an entry in the pedestrian pedstats.dat. Don't know why it's called that. File labeled Stat Psycho that has 0 lawlessness and fear and 100 temper. This means that he would have been an extremely aggressive pedestrian, having an even higher tendency for violence than stat criminal. The code dictating street criminals, however, it is not known if the Psycho pedestrian is actually connected with this code. Psycho skin texture. The Psycho is also the subject of a minor myth within the game, much like Leatherface and Ed Gein. The Psycho is claimed to be a serial killer operating in the forest of Flint County. Believers in this myth point out that unlike other serial killers' myths, that Psycho actually has a model within the game. The Psycho is said to reside in one of the many homesteads scattered throughout the countryside. Gosh. Locations of the Psycho. In Backo Beyond. Near the Ghost Lake is a small one-room home with a windmill. This house is not connected with any other myth in the game, so it may belong to him. The farmstead at Beacon Hill is also claimed to be the Psycho's home. A large farm just due south of Montgomery is another area with Psycho sightings, but as seen in the mission Woozy Moo, it is probably gang territory and not any kind of residence. A small outpost east of the farm is sited at the primary residence of the Psycho. It is a one-room storage area that contains a sniper rifle, Sanchez, and crop duster. Believers say that the sniper and Sanchez are used by the Psycho to commit his murders. Nevertheless, the crop duster is excluded, and it seems more than likely that the outpost actually belongs to the farmers at the nearby farm who uses the crop duster for their fields and the rifle for hunting. Yeah, it makes more sense. Psycho terrorizes the city. When encountered by the player, the Psycho is said to be aggressive and rushes the player with a knife or opens fire from a distance with his rifle. From this point, the Psycho is just a regular hostile NPC and can be defeated by the player easily. The Spy. Eyewitnesses of the Spy claim that the player will receive a strange phone call while wandering the woods of Backo Beyond. This phone call is believed to trigger the spawning of the Spy, as he can be spotted stalking the player and aiming a camera at Carl Johnson during the call, only to retreat when it's over. The Spy is hiding in the bushes, the only eyewitness's photo. The Spy is believed by fans to be the mission boss Mike Torino, a government agent who employed Carl Johnson during the missions in the final parts of the game. Mike Torino. Players claim that Mike Torino is known to stalk Carl Johnson due to multiple pieces of dialogue from missions. In multiple missions, Torino is known to tell Carl Johnson that he is keeping an eye on him. More images. Photo of a spy from a distance. Hold on. Stop. Seeing the side. So that was it, guys, for today's video. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button and subscribe. And click the bell so you never miss another video. And I will see you next time. Bye!